going.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Nightmare Road. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Decon, here with the very, very dark and twisted.
Patch the Oracle.
And we have a very amazing guest today. We have one of my good friends. Like, man, this if you're one of those people that's a charlatan, and if you see this individual walking on the road, just get your shit and just run off. Because he'll make everybody know that you're ripping people off. Here we have the one, the only Static Voices.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, brother?
What up?
You know, another day. I appreciate the invitation to come on, even though, Decon, you didn't know I was coming.
I had no idea. This was a good surprise.
So I'm happy to be here. You know, I'm looking forward to the discussion. I know what the topic is, and I think we're gonna hit on a lot of different things. It's gonna be a fun show.
Dude, you should have popped out of a cake.
What?
You should have popped out of a cake.
Actually, I was gonna come on the show wearing my alien mask that I got at the last event that I was attending.
Dude, you would have
Yeah.
scared me to pieces. That's like a black sorcerer. Anyway.
Yeah, I got
Oh, you're just a pansy. Come on now.
Oh, those are cool, dude. Those are if you catch somebody in the dark, dude. That'll.
I bought it specifically for trying to debunk alien videos.
Dude, I've seen. There was a famous video out there where these people were running through the dark, and then you look up and in the space you see like somebody with their head kind of turned upside down, and they had like the creepy hands. And if I remember correctly, and I think that you showed the hands, like you can buy these online, and
Yeah.
then
I remember that one.
And then after that, I just remember seeing all these videos of like the hands coming up, and I'm like, oh, those are the same hands you could buy at Amazon for like
Literally. A majority of them are. I can't wait to bust out the rake suit that I've got to do some debunking for the rake in the pale crawler videos.
Oh, shit.
Oh, heck yes.
But my main one for that is I have to pre-warn the neighbors because New Hampshire is a very much pro-gun state. I'd rather not get shot while running through the woods.
Yeah, that's like Idaho.
Yeah. That would not be a fun experience.
No. So you gotta let them know this is what we're doing. Man, there's so many people out there that do those videos, and I don't have an issue with it if you're doing it for fun or whatever, but the moment that these people start either selling the footage or they'll charge people, and it's like, I can show you where you find these things, and here's the evidence. That's when I have an issue with it. Because...
Yeah, I have no issue with people wanting to make them for fun if that's their thing, but if I see something that I feel like is being used for a monetary gain that I can tell is fake, I'm going to call it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I said you're the nightmare of these fucks. So,
but sometimes it's good to have a nightmare every now and then, though. So,
well, yeah, like I'm very skeptical when it comes to a lot of things, and people are like, "Well, I mean, if you're a skeptic, like what? Because it's fun, like it's in the DNA." You know what I mean? Like
it is.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason I got invited to go to Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin last month.
Oh shit!
The owner Bill Walter flew me out there. I stayed in the location for 3 days.
Nice.
When he told me I was staying in the location, he legitimately did not let me leave the location. I snuck off twice to go get pizza. But yeah, so that place, I can tell you right now, first time in almost as long as I can remember that I have left the location with more questions than I had answers.
Wow, interesting.
There was not a single thing that I experienced in that building that I feel like I could properly disprove.
See, that's
wow.
That's crazy. But I mean, damn, dude, since I've known you, you're that guy that walks through places with a damn notebook, and you're just like taking notes of shit.
Yeah.
Because it's just yeah. I mean, that's how he is.
Yeah.
It's like if you run one of those operations where you're just trying to take advantage of people, or you're trying to do something and then you accidentally invite Static, like you fucked up, because he's gonna show up and he's gonna start taking notes, and you just have.
That was what I loved about Bill. Was Bill knew what I did, and that's the reason he wanted me.
Yeah, because it's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of videos out there where people capture EVPs, and it's like and then but then closer inspection, you realize that they have copper pipes, and copper pipes, they tend to expand and they rattle as they build up pressure. They're not like lead or the steel pipes that are more resistant to that kind of stuff. And
Or they hear footsteps, but they have a hardwood floor. It could be the floor expanding and contracting with the heat, the floor popping.
yeah, and that's a great point too. I didn't even think of that because I mean, there's a reason why they use copper instruments when they're trying to find like where vibration is because it shows you where the weakness of a structure is and all those kind of things. And the same thing happens in a house. I mean, if you're walking on a hardwood floor, that vibration is going to trigger that copper and it's just going to, ring.
Yep.
And then
Mm-hmm.
and there's people out there that either they don't know, and I cut them some slack because they're like, damn, I didn't know that that's what happened. But then there's people that know, they're like, yeah, and I'm just going to charge people $50.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I can tell you that Bill brought me in with the best of intentions. He told me his goal to have, while I was at the Paranormal Rockdown event, was he wanted me to purposely disprove the activity in his building if I could.
Damn, see, that's cool.
And
You weren't able to.
I wasn't even there 2 hours. I was up on the 3rd floor by myself, and I'm walking through a hallway. Mind you, my dumb ass forgot to bring a flashlight with me on the plane, and Bill didn't happen to have one. So I'm walking around the facility using a damn laser grid. So I don't know if
Oh,
you've ever
gosh.
tried to do that or not. Don't.
Yeah.
It is disorienting as all hell.
Yeah. Use that out in the field sometimes, like to set up barricades, like out in the. So when somebody drives by and it triggers it, it disorients the driver, and also you're able to see him from far away. So,
yeah. So
there's
I'm using it by pointing it at the wall, which is white, giving me ambient light so I can actually walk.
my.
So that worked out pretty well. I'm on the phone with my girlfriend Morgan, and Morgan's a psychic.
Yeah.
And we're walking, or I'm walking, and she's talking, and all of a sudden I see. If you've ever been to a school that has a staircase, then you got those double doors that have the push bars.
Yeah.
They're relatively tall, and they typically have that rectangular style window, one on each door.
Yeah.
So the left door was propped open, the right door was closed. I saw a black mass physically block out the whole rectangular window and then go through the doorway into another room.
Oh, wow.
So my thought here was Bill's fucking with me. Because he walks around this abandoned building with no shoes on. So I've been told he's like a ninja and he's very quiet. So I'm like, Bill's messing with me. I start heading down that way and I walk by the door. So they have a center part door that separates the two areas because there was 2 different grades. These doors were propped open, and that metal bar that you would have to push down on to open the door, I physically with my own eyes saw it lift up and slam down.
Oh shit.
Holy shit.
When I was standing right beside it.
That's wild.
So me being me, I'm like, well, maybe I didn't see it lift up. Maybe I just saw it fall down. Maybe it was stuck in the upright position.
Yeah.
So I started pulling on it. It was not sticking. It had nice fluid motion. And while I'm messing with this, on the other side of the hallway, opposite from where I just saw the first shadow, a shadow about the size of a child ran into another doorway.
Oh, jeez.
This literally was like a back to back to back within 10 minutes.
Damn. What was the history with this place?
So it was a school that ended up burning down at one point back in the early 90s. Not early 90s, sorry,
1900s?
Yes, sorry. But when they rebuilt it, they had to remove some Indian burial grounds because they wanted to build it bigger. So they got permission to move the burial grounds, but they did it unceremoniously because they didn't remove them. They just plowed over them and built.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. As far as I know of, there was no deaths in the actual building itself. But I do know that at one point after it closed, there was a few people that escaped from a mental institute that kind of like held up shop in there for a few weeks. They couldn't get them to come out. But it was an interesting location to say the least. Not just that, but it sits right next to a ley line. It was right next to a railroad track. It's got a completely limestone bedrock. And as we all know, limestone gives off its own natural EMF. And underneath that limestone bedrock is a natural aquifer.
Damn. So when you have a structure like that, especially something as cavernous, like for example, if there's water underground, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, so when there's water underground, a lot of the times, your EMF meter will actually pick up on the electricity and all that kind of stuff. So this is a theory. Okay, I've heard this theory a couple times. So they say that a building may not necessarily have a death or anything like that happen, but because of that large amount of energy, like entities that feed, because you bring your own devices for things, they just kind of hang out there, or yeah, they see that almost like a beacon, and they're like, I can feed over here, and they just kind of hang out, and then there's people walking on. They're like, oh shit, look, there's people, or they're confused and they don't know what's going on. They're like, who the heck, like, and so then they're drawn to this area, and then that's the kind of stuff that you're picking up,
Right.
So.
And another thing that was crazy to me about the building, which I wish Bill would have told me when I went in, we're going to leave on Sunday and we're walking around the exterior of the building. It's the first time I actually got the chance to walk around the outside of the building, mind you. I'm looking down and I happen to notice that on the far right cornerstone, there's masonry markings. When the building was rebuilt, it was rebuilt by the Masons.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which explains the statue that's at the center of one of the hallways that I couldn't figure out why in the hell it was there.
Yeah. How do you feel about so when you look at buildings like that the Freemasons built, a lot of them have a lot of symbols on the wall. A lot of them have runes like carved into, and some people believe that is utilized. Well, there's the conspiracy of the Masons.
Right.
They say, well, it's tradition, it's symbolic, but a lot of their stuff they actually get from, the first Temple of Solomon. And why did all these things have runes carved in? It was to hold things, almost like to imprison things. So a lot of places that are built by the Masons and have that symbolism and have all that kind of stuff, it not only does it act like a beacon sometimes, but whatever the hell is in there actually gets trapped. And they're like, oh shit. And then you have trapped energy or trapped, entities in there. And it acts almost like a raccoon trap, how they can go in, but they can't get out.
Yep.
So you have a building that doesn't have like a dark history, but all of a sudden, you get EVPs that are dark. You get all these things because things are angry. They're scared. They're confused. And they're like, what the hell? I walk in here and I can't get out.
Right.
So.
I mean, I'd be pissed.
Well, yeah, especially if they're kids. Because a kid sees a nice bright, I don't know how they perceive the world, but I imagine that if it's attracting people, maybe it looks like a nice like blue light or something, and they go to check it out and then they're trapped,
Right.
And it's pretty sad if you think about it, actually. Can you? Yeah, it's like a kid trapped.
That. Why'd you have to bring me down like that?
I don't know. It's like a kid trapped in a fun house, and they'll get scared and they're confused,
I mean, a majority of the entities there are claimed to be children. The principal roams the third floor. There's also claims of there being two elementals there as well. One in the boiler room with the janitor, who apparently does not like women in his space.
Is it Freddy Krueger? Hello.
You know what? It could be. But it was a creepy enough boiler room. I could tell you that. I wanted to do a solitary spot in there, but never did get a chance, unfortunately. But we were busy. It was a 2-day event, and I got there like midnight the day before the event started. So,
dude, elementals, that's some pretty scary shit.
Yeah, that's the one that they claimed. Like when you walk into the room, it instantly takes your breath away, or the hair on the back of your neck stands up.
Yeah.
And there is one room there that I found super, super odd. And it was the room that I was telling you about earlier that I saw the first shadow go into. When you walk into that specific room, for whatever reason, all other noise from the interior of the building stops. You can't hear anything.
Whoa.
But you can hear echoes within that room while you're talking, like your own echo.
Yeah.
But you can't hear anybody. If they're standing 3 or 4 feet from the door, you can't hear them talking in the hallway.
Oh, that's a trip.
Shit. Oh, that's weird. I wonder what that is.
I have no idea. It's a very strange acoustical anomaly is what it is.
You think that's like for example, in Japan, when someone would die, the first thing that they would do is they had a specialized room which was soundproof and to a point, and then they would put the body there because they believe that the first couple of days a spirit will get up and wander, and if no sound can get out, then that spirit can't exit. So they so what they do is they put them in a room, and the spirit supposedly gets up for like a couple days and wanders around and finally realizes that he can't get out, so he gets back in his body. Then they take it to the place where they lay him to rest, and then there's where the spirit's free to roam, because I guess they believe that if someone dies and let's say you have a viewing or something like that, that spirit's gonna wander and they'll haunt that area, and that's not what they want.
Huh.
So they have like these specialized little rooms, you know, for that.
I mean, considering the fact the building was built by the Masons, maybe they had a pre-notion of that already.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
It was also a nursing home at one point. I know that, so I assume it's very possible people died during that period, but I couldn't find any records on it.
Yeah, a lot of those places were like, if especially with old folks' homes and all that kind of stuff. Well, they used to call them the elder asylums, and then they ended up changing the name because it didn't sound very palatable. So that's what it was. It was an asylum.
I mean, it works for me.
Yeah. So old folks home. You know, it sounds so friendly and so peaceful. Instead of telling your grandfather, we're taking you to in Spanish, they still call them asylum, un asilo de ancianos, an old folks asylum. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, so what would happen was when someone died in a facility, they would make it seem like they died somewhere else, like on the way there or on the way somewhere else. So deaths were not reported because they don't want that reputation, right? Like someone died here, because the more people die in a place, the less customers you're going to get, you know? So normally when someone would pass away, well, yeah, if someone were to pass away, they're like, well, we went out on a field trip. Well, yeah, just like Disneyland. When someone dies, have you heard that?
Oh yeah.
Have you heard that? Yeah, when someone dies in Disneyland, they put them in an ambulance and they take them, and they died on the way to the hospital, even though they were already dead
on
the floor in Disneyland. So same concept, you know.
Because they don't want people to not feel the magic because of a tragic event.
Yeah, like somebody was decapitated here. It's like, can you imagine the Disney manager coming up with the Mickey Mouse here? She's like, all right, people, just because his head's off doesn't mean he's dead. You know, just isn't that right, Mickey? Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I don't think you're explaining that one away.
No. Well, my gosh. Oh, yep. His head fell off.
Stop it now.
There's one. There's the other. Now he's dead. Anyway, so
I hate you.
Anyway, so today's topic, geez, we're 17 minutes in and we've just been bullshitting.
So terrible.
So today's topic is Ouija boards and, you know, Zozo and all these demonic entities. So before the show, you were showing us actually something really cool.
So some people out there, they like to use these. You know, they're basically the same concept of as a Ouija board, only you use a crystal, you hold a crystal over the top of it, and you ask questions. It tells you maybe, yes, no, unknown. And you got all these little different symbols in here. I'm be honest with you, I don't know what the hell they are. I've not yet used this thing because I didn't have the contraption built that I wanted for it yet. So I'm gonna eventually learn what those symbols on the inside here are, because I really don't know.
Those look like the different astrology signs.
It looks like Greek astrology.
It is zodiac. Yeah, I could say zodiac. Yeah.
So,
and then you got the phases of the moon and the sun in the center is what it looks like.
So
what we did was, because me being me, I want to remove the human factor. Because a lot of times when you hold these, similar to what, this is kind of why this fell into the topic tonight, because we're going to be discussing Ouija boards, we're going to be discussing the Zozo demon and all these other things. So your body, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So your body at any given time is constantly making micro movements. It's something that's known as the ideomotor effect. And a lot of people do claim that this can affect your seances with a Ouija board as far as your answers. Now, do I think if you're using it by yourself, that your body's micro movements could maybe formulate an answer, or maybe you had a precognitive answer that you already felt like you knew? Then yeah, I could say that you possibly moved it by yourself. Do I see the ideomotor effect explaining 4 people holding a planchette and that planchette sliding across the board to an answer? I highly doubt the 4 different people were thinking the same exact specific answer.
Dude, I'm going from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I get a drink. I'll be right back.
You good?
Keep talking.
So
like that thing would never work for me because I'm so shaky. So I would have to have something like that.
So this, you got your crystal chain here. So this way, because a lot of people claim that you can't use this without the human touch. You can't use it without the human conduit. So that's why this still sticks out of the top. If you notice, I have a little bit of extra chain there. And I did that because we are building a plexiglass case to go over the top of this to eliminate the environmental factors such as breezes or winds. So this will actually come up through the top of the plexiglass case, and sit right on top. So this way, people who claim that you have to have the human connection to it can still put their finger on the end of the crystal.
Dude, that's really smart. And let me see it. Can you lift it up a
There
little
you
bit more?
go.
See, that's cool. That's very Egyptian. And the thing was that
So cool.
in ancient Egypt, well, also the Chinese did the same thing, only they had sand, and they would put
And
sand at the bottom.
we decided to build it out of sandalwood, which has its
Mhm.
own properties as well.
Perfect.
See, dude,
So I put a lot
you're
of
the
thought
man.
into this.
So the plexiglass thing. So the way that this used to be, the way the Egyptians did it was they would have their own oracle or a mage, and only that mage was allowed. And this was the size of a room. They're not small. This was the size of a room, and people had to basically like stand up against the wall just to make sure there was no interference. Right, so they would begin to swing this thing, and they would ask their questions, and then that's how they got their answers. And there was a person that would interpret it. So
Nice.
it was crazy. There was actually a lot of different forms. There was one where they would like basically take a room, and there was like a huge hole in the ceiling, and then
That's
it
the
was
one I've seen.
and it had like a crystal, and the moonlight would
Mhm.
basically like light illuminate the answers.
Huh.
So
It
yeah,
looks so yeah, they're so cool.
there's a great movie out there. It's called it's a Christian movie. It's called the Nativity Story. And in there, what I love about that is they have the Magi. And remember, the Magi were astrologers, right? And they were the wise men. So there's a scene very beautifully made. So there's a scene where they're interpreting the stars, and they have a huge cut in the ceiling, and there's a well, and they're looking at the reflection of water. If you look besides them, they actually have many divination tools, and one of those tools is that pendulum that you have there. And so
Yeah.
it,
I,
it was,
I I love those. Like I think the pendulum idea is great. It's just I feel like for me there was too many plausibilities of environmental and human factors that could cause false answers.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Also,
agree.
like you said, there's also a lot of psychomotor type of stuff. So the person that would see, now my brain is going. So the person
Uh-oh.
that was
Here we go.
the person that had the pendulum, if they had any questions, they were not. Some of them would blindfold them, because we have these very small movements where if you want a yes, you may not see it, but your body leans in just a little bit to the yes if you have a desire. Or if, let's say that you have a yes and you have a no, and the pendulum is swinging, you may just lean in a little bit to see if it hits the yes, and that's enough of a movement for it
It
to hit
is.
the yes. Yep.
Right?
It absolutely is. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, when I went to Nashville, New Hampshire, where I got the alien mask, there was a lady there. This is what she calls energy readings, where she basically uses a certain style pendulum. You put
Yeah.
out your palm, and she does, her little. I don't think that she knows
Yeah.
how well I pay attention. I doubt she knows who I am at all. Because I'm sitting there watching her do this over my girlfriend's hand. She's like, "Oh, so, well, you see how it's spinning this way? Yep. Watch this. I can make it stop, and you can see her hand slightly moving."
Yeah.
And the
And you're
girlfriend was
just like,
paying
really?
she was paying too much attention to the actual pendulum to realize the movement of the hand, because that's
Hmm.
how they get you. So when we walked away, and she was like, "Well, that was really interesting." I was like, "Was it though?" And she was like, "What do you mean, was it though?" And I was like, "You didn't notice the hand, did you?"
You should have got it on video or something.
Well,
Well, they're good. Like a lot of these people, like you underestimate them. They're good at what they do. They have those movements down so well. Too. There was a guy out there that was famous with the dowsing rods, and this dude was really
Oh,
famous. And the way that he did it was, he had his body locked in, but if you looked at his knees, all he did was moving his knees, and his upper body looked still, and his
I've
knees were actually
seen
in upper
that.
body. The movement, and it's just people don't pick up on that.
which is
People,
which is yet another reason I really don't trust dowsing rods.
yeah,
I don't either.
they're
Don't
so
worry,
they're
I will
sketchy.
I will build a contraption to hold those as well at some point, and it's
Yeah,
be good then.
well, and that's the thing. That's the thing is nobody thinks about that kind of shit. It's like, how do you take away the human element? Well, you can build contrapt.
Yeah,
If it's
take away the human.
if it's the actual dowsing rods, then I mean, you know, it shouldn't matter what, if someone's holding it,
Exactly.
somebody's holding it or not. It actually
Right.
might even work better if it's not being held by a person.
It very well might. I can tell you right
Yeah.
now,
I
if I
think it
use
would.
them, I don't know if it's the way I hold them or what, but they always come back and smack me in the face.
Yeah, dude, it's because there's too much energy. You're static.
Or
So
that's just a
I
sign.
don't use them.
Dude, I should make you some kind of badge or something where you show up at a where there's like all these people reading cards or palms and everything. You flash your badge like, hey, I'm static. I'm here to kind of make sure you're not
That's funny.
you're not full of shit.
That's funny. So I know we have the topic tonight, so I wanted to show you guys my board.
Oh, that's so cool.
Dude, see, you made that?
I did not, but it's got my TikTok name on it.
Oh, I see that, dude. That's
This
cool.
was made custom made for me by the Radicals, Danny and Lauren Perez.
Oh shit.
Sick.
So this is actually made out of coffin wood
Oh damn.
from the Grave
Oh
Diggers
my
Union.
God, that's so cool.
See, oh man, that's cool.
And so my planchette is actually a pinnacle.
Oh, okay.
Hell
So
yes.
the pinnacle is also made out of coffin wood.
Oh,
I wanted the pendulum that he had, but unfortunately I couldn't get him to part with it for me because I wasn't about to pay that much money. That's made from a human scapula bone.
you would.
Dude, I'm on this property and I find bones, all the time. One time I found this femur, which looked like a little kid's femur, and I was like, man, like, yeah, it's just it was just a very old property. I mean, people used to just, well, yeah, there used to be a time. This farm was shit. I think they said it was like 1870s. There was a couple farmhouses
That
on there.
makes sense.
Back then, people would bury more kids than they raised up.
Oh yeah.
And that's just the way life was. That's why the people were so much harder, and they were just hard, bitter people. And then it came to pass where people wanted answers, and that's where things like the Ouija board. But the Ouija board that we know of today is more of a Hasbro. Is the Hasbro design, right?
Yeah.
With the planchette.
Yeah. People treat it like it's a freaking game.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. That's what it was labeled as. It's like, if you're bored, you guys can talk to the dead. But before the Ouija board with the planchette, it was what he just showed you, the pendulum with and it was either you had somebody make it in secret, somebody secretly make it, because if people caught wind that you were doing this, holy shit, they could run you out of town.
From my understanding, and I can confirm with actually my podcast guest next week is Jeffrey David Witham, who owns the Traveling Board Museum. And
oh damn!
So this is actually funny that I got asked to be on the show considering he's my guest next week. So it's like you knew, Ash. It's like you knew. So I'll confirm with him. But if I'm not mistaken, the oldest physical Ouija board of this style known was from 1898, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually in the Salem Witchboard Museum in Salem.
Yes, the commercial use one was, I think, established in, I could be completely wrong, I think 1903 is when Hasbro was like, I think so, and they made it like out of cardboard because they used to be made out of wood.
Mm-hmm.
So you are correct. It was 1903 where they first became commercially available, but they were not mass produced.
Yeah.
Mass production started in the mid to early 70s where they came out with the style that we know now.
Yeah, and they had commercials on TV and they had all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and it wasn't made by Hasbro in 1903. It was made by a completely different company. As a matter of fact, Hasbro completely ripped off their design and almost got sued for patent infringement.
Yep, there was a whole battle, and then over this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, yeah. So over this design, and it was known as a Parliament game, but it was made out of wood, and it was made out of coffin wood, I believe, which, so you had to get it custom made and you had to put your initials on it because they were worth a fortune, know. So very wealthy people had, and that's what's interesting. So when we look at the history of, like, for example, tarot was actually utilized by the wealthy because they're the ones that could afford to hire the people and have the things made.
Yep.
So things like the Ouija board, or the talking board, as it was originally
Yep.
called, the talking board. They would engrave your name just so they know what family owned it, because they put so much money into it, and everything was authentic. But then, like you said, it was later commercially made for children. It was peddled at children and all that kind of stuff. So
Right. And there's been so many different variations throughout the years that it's so difficult to keep track of them all. Now
Oh
you got
yeah.
now you have glow in the dark ones. I saw this thing on Amazon, the Holy Spirit board, where it claims you can talk directly to Jesus through it, but yet
Oh yeah, I
Christians,
saw that one.
but yet Christians don't believe in using
Yeah.
divination tools.
yeah,
So
you
explain
cannot
that
use
one
that.
to me.
Yeah, you cannot utilize the divination
It's
tools.
okay to talk to Jesus though. Come on. You didn't know
Yeah,
that? As long as it
yeah,
concerns Jesus, it's fine.
As
not
soon
through
as I saw that, I was
not
like,
through a board.
I have to have it. I have not bought it yet, but I do fully plan on it because
You know,
I think I want
I
to
will
buy it.
I will send you a picture of the planchette.
dude, do it.
And let me tell you something. Once you see the planchette on the board with how the board is actually configured, you're going to be like, oh, that is not what
Oh
I
shit.
expected to see.
Yeah, dude, it's one of
I
those
want
things
it.
where it's so valuable because a lot of these things are historical. I mean, and people look at things like talking boards and Ouija boards, and they just see them just like as tools for divination or games, but they have no idea what it actually did to our country, especially through the whole spiritualist movement and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
This actually helped a lot of people get through the Great Depression. I
Yeah.
mean, there was people out there. I mean, just like Monopoly. Monopoly, we look at it now like a stupid game that eventually you flip the board. Monopoly helped
Freaking
people get
hate
through the
that
Great.
game.
Well, yeah. So,
It frustrates the crap out of me.
well, yeah,
That game
it was
just
like
pisses me off.
so the talking board during the Great Depression, it brought you hope. Like people out there were hopeless, they were desperate, they were depressed, hence the name, the Great Depression. They're depressed, they didn't know what was going to happen, and then
Really?
they wanted guidance. So
Yeah, I don't get it.
at that time people started coming out with their spirit boards, and it was like, I can talk to, blah blah blah, and you can ask for guidance, and these people coughed up everything from bread to properties.
You name it.
Yeah, anything that was valuable. People gave
Yeah,
deeds to their houses, just
it's
for a
so
session.
wild.
But I mean, when you look at it, what's the price of hope? Like these
Not
people,
my house.
well, you were maybe you were about to lose it, like you
All
didn't know
right.
that you can, it's all those things. But if somebody offers you a small glimpse of happiness, like of course people would give up anything,
A lot of
I
people
so
would.
think
I
I'd
agree.
rather be depressed in my house.
and some people got the questions answered, and the questions were, go down and start recruiting people for the harbor, and people build entire companies like shipping, like shipping companies got started because at some point the Ouija board told them you should do this, and then that actually opened up a huge market in the United States. So people don't give enough credit to things like this. I call it sorcery, but it's these kind of things that made America what it is, and
Right.
and
That
but
makes sense.
but also it had a very dark history. There was people that were tormented, by certain things, and a lot of it could have been through their mind, like themselves, or maybe they opened the portal to something.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is, yes, the tool was used for positive, but you also have that negative side of it as well, where
Hmm.
people claim that they use it, and then for whatever reason they get these demonic or negative attachments that they claim came from the board. Um, do I believe that firmly? I don't think so. Um, I don't personally use the board. If you notice, I didn't show you guys the planchette because I don't keep the planchette with the board. I always keep it separate. So for me though, and that's not even because I think I'm going to contact a demon on accident while I'm sleepwalking or something and then accidentally hit the planchette. I don't think that at all. For me, it's a rule that I don't keep them together.
yeah.
But I feel like,
I think I've heard that before, though.
is it? Yeah,
it, it, it it's an old, so like for example with the original talking board, there was a, like, let's say that you hosted parties, they would build, I think even this house is so old. there's a slot in the wall which looks like the shape of a planchette, but there was places where you had your room that you'd utilize
so
for
awesome.
games or gatherings, and then you would keep the board in one place and the planchette you keep in a separate part of the room because they didn't want them together.
Exactly.
For the specific reasons. Number one, it was because they didn't want to conjure anything, and number two, you don't know what lurks around your house and what can actually come through the board.
Right, and that's the thing is you have so many different cases, where people have claimed to have conjured something negative. I mean, take the Amityville Horror as a really good example.
It's a great example.
Did it actually happen? A lot of people say the Amityville Horror was a hoax. But then you look back at, I want to say the case of Ronald Doe with The Exorcist.
Yeah.
That involved a Ouija board. And so, did that happen? Okay, we all know that's a fact. That happened.
Yeah.
Dude,
they boarded off the whole room because of it.
Here's my question, though. Was it the actual board itself that conjured said demon, or was the demon already attracted to him, but found a way to contact with the board itself? That is what opened the gateway.
That's
a
what
really good
I've
question.
always wondered. These people that do get demons out of the boards, are you sure that demon wasn't already there and you just opened up that line of communication?
And
how do you know it came from the board?
And that's the thing. It's a lot of these people who use these boards, they use them with the incorrect intention to begin with.
They do.
You have to have a completely clear mind when you use these. You do not use it when you're sad. You do not use it when you're mad.
Yep.
You have a completely clear mindset. But for me personally, I don't believe that there's anything inherently evil about these devices. If you think about it logically, every single thing that we use to investigate the paranormal is what? A divination tool.
Yep, it's a divination tool.
You're using dowsing rods. You're using voice recorders. Yes, voice recorders can be used for other things as well. But when you're using it for the specific purpose of contacting spirit, you are now using it as a divination tool. So in theory, any tool that we use in the paranormal should be able to attract a demonic entity to attach to us. The board itself should not be significantly pointed out for this factor.
Damn, that's a really good point, dude. It's just and people just don't know. So, back in the day when they would utilize it to conjure things, people weren't just like laugh. It was a serious matter. Like, they did it during dinner parties and all this kind of stuff, but they came in with an intention. And, it wasn't like, I got this idea, let's go, get the Ouija board and play. Like, it wasn't that way. People would travel. People would travel because they had a purpose, they had a question. And as soon as their question was answered, people would leave. They wouldn't stick around and laugh like, oh, okay, that's what they said. And they would leave. And then they would close it out. And then that was the end of it. And I think that once it became a game, like in the minds of people, that it become in a way dangerous, maybe just dangerous in the paranormal sense, or maybe even dangerous psychologically, because
if bit of both.
Well, yeah, because somebody could have a small form of schizophrenia, and this could like really,
that's a very good point.
Yeah, you don't know, and then these people begin to enact violently, and then the old question comes, like, were these people imagining it the whole time, or did something demonic saw this person's mental illness and then used it? You know what I mean?
Right. That's
and
a good point.
Yeah, it's dark, and it's
or
like
what if somebody like already believes, goes in with the intention, okay, Ouija boards are evil, all that comes out of them is negative things, blah, 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 and they go in and play with it, then
they're putting forth that intention.
They're probably going to get that too.
It's the intention, what they were looking for. What do they say? That when you look for something, you'll find it one way or the other.
The way I've always liked to word it is, don't go looking for snakes. You're going to find them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to find them either physically, or every step you take, you're like, oh, shit, I think I saw a snake, and
right. Physically, metaphorically, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. And it's so damaging, especially because we lose sight of the use of things, because it's like, oh, the Ouija board, it's a game. That's what they said in the commercials. Hasbro was like, try this game. There's a reason why it was called a tool. It's a divination tool. It's not a divination game. It's not a divination toy. It's a divination tool.
Yeah, and do I believe that they can be used to contact spirits? I mean, yeah, absolutely. I believe that anything that we use can, if used properly. But you
These
guys know,
flashlights.
yeah, flashlights, good example. People use
Right?
flashlights all the time. Me personally, I don't believe the flashlight thing works. I just think you have a loose connection because of how you have it set up,
Yeah.
and you're getting little tiny charges that are turning that light off and on. The fact that it's turning off and on yes and no questions is completely and purely coincidental. But sorry, tangent there.
Yes, I love it.
But
No, but
I love your
that's
tangents, though.
but that's what it is, and that's why I love this dude. It's because it's it's people refuse it. So when you look at people do so on TV, okay, here we go. On TV, people do the flashlight thing, and they're like, "Is my grandmother, does she watch me what I do at night in bed?" And then they wait, and in
I
the
hope mine
show,
doesn't.
uh, so 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 in the show, the light turns on, right? The light turns on and it's like, should I stop doing it? And the light turns on again. You don't know how much time is actually passing in between questions because
Right.
of editing. So somebody may do the flashlight thing and they sit there and they wait. And as soon as they wait, it could take 30 seconds. Then the light comes on. They're like, holy shit, there's your answer. And it's like, no, man, the connection is there.
Let me
You know?
tell you, I saw the flashlight thing in person when I was down at Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin, the place we were discussing earlier. Here's the thing. When I'm not saying that it doesn't work sometimes, but what I'm going to tell you is when someone tells a spirit to turn on the flashlight and the flashlight turns on, okay, I'm a little bit, intrigued now because it turned on command. But when you tell it to turn off the light and it doesn't, and then you say, well, I need you to turn off that light, please. And you have to repeat that same question 5 or 6 times before the light shuts off. No, that's coincidence now.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's dude, and again, like if you're gonna be a charlatan, you're gonna use a tool like this, it's fine if you're doing it like with yourself. But the issue is when you begin to take advantage of somebody that's hurting and taking advantage of somebody that wants answers, they just lost somebody.
Yes.
Just like, damn, what's okay, so there's a person out there, I'm not gonna mention their name, but there's a person out there that would keep their eye out on obituaries and like Facebook posts and see if they recently saw someone, lost somebody, and then they would go and contact this person, and then they would be like, "This person has been the whole dude." It's so sick. I'm not gonna mention names, but it they found this person, and they're like, "This person might be hurting," so they go and they contact, and they're like, "For $70, I can tell you what's up." And it's so disgusting because at that point, it's like, yeah, you do need to be debunked because you're hurting people.
I know
For me,
exactly what you're talking about too.
That's like tantamount to the old school Miss Cleo 9800 number. Like,
Miss
Yeah.
Cleo, she never called anyone. Can you imagine if you're really a TV psychic? Why don't they call you? Like, hey, I know that you're, you know what I mean? And then you get a phone call and you're like, hello, who is it? It's me, Miss Cleo. You know,
you know what?
It pitches when it burns.
If you're watching the show, you should be able to output that energy so they could feel it, I guess, in a sense, if you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that lady ripped so many people off. But I'm sorry to sit there and do that. And I don't know who you're talking about. To be honest with you, I don't want to know who you're talking about. But for me, that's sickening.
Yeah,
it is so disgusting.
It's gross. So, but those people are out there, and I mean, and that's why we need a static out there. Because these people, how do they get attention? They get attention by making certain small videos, and then people pay attention. They're like, holy shit, can you help me? And they go, yes. And they have
of course I can help you.
Well, they have, and it's see, this is turning into like an anti, it's not even turning into a Ouija board, but it's fine. I like this. But so these people,
hey, we've hit on the Ouija boards a little bit.
Yeah, we did. So we're good. We met our quota. Don't demonetize us.
We met our quota.
But
we do still have to talk about Zozo, though.
Yes, we do. That's so these people, they go and they already have like a sales pitch. They already have like the step 1, step 2, step 3. So they'll put out a video of them like seeing something. People contact them, and cold reading is such a motherfucker because they'll say something like, let's say August. August means something to you, and these people are like, holy shit, and it can mean anything, right? it doesn't matter what it is. I lost my brother here. I got punched in the balls in August. I got something, just something.
Back in
And
5th grade, I
yeah,
got
it does. Yeah,
embarrassed by so and so and
yeah, I
bullied.
got, yeah, I said a tiny wiener. It doesn't matter what it is. It all have. So it was just one of those things where the month has something. You're like, yes, and then you give them the answer, and you're like, yeah, my blah blah blah, and then there's where they hook you, and they're like, okay, so and then
Right.
they go to phase 2, and they're so good at it too.
And
So
they
They're
are.
gross.
And what I really hate is I've been to events before where when you're walking through the door, the event coordinators will ask you your name and all this other kinds of stuff. What people don't realize they're doing is they're actually fishing for information for the
yep.
psychics that they have at the event.
Hmm.
And people don't
Oh
realize
yeah,
it.
of course they are.
And
Yeah.
People are so dumb.
it makes the psychic look better. But what makes the psychic look bad is when they choose the wrong person to read and they realize really quickly that they done fucked up.
Yeah.
Because my ex, for a good example, the psychic that was up there at that event decided to try and read her. Every question, no, no, nope, not familiar. Well, she didn't believe in psychics to begin with, but she would have admitted it if she hit something right.
Yeah.
But she was like, "Oh, well, I feel something off this bracelet that you're wearing that had to have been given to you by a very, very close person in your life." And she said, "This bracelet?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I found this in the lost and found at TJ Maxx."
and
Called her out right there, and the lady was like, "I'll come back to you."
yeah, and
That's so funny.
what's crazy is some psychics are really good at bouncing back from something like that. Like, oh, it's like, okay, then the person that lost it, and they're just so quick, and then they begin to claw at you because they're like, because they know
I
if they
can't,
lose you, they lose the whole group.
I can't wait to test these. I finally got my hands on the last Paracon I was at.
Oh shit. Yeah, those are cool, dude.
Oh, that's cool.
I've been wanting
So
a set of these for years.
so are
Oh,
you gonna
sick.
test it on a psychic? Are you gonna go call somebody
I'm
out?
not gonna test it on a psychic. You're damn right I am.
Are you gonna call them out? Are you gonna do it live on your TikTok? Are you gonna
I will not. I will not do it live. Just
No, you can't.
out of
Aw,
respect.
I could have been a good life.
No,
I
you don't want to
may bring
humiliate somebody.
I may bring them randomly to a Paracon just to see if anyone wants to give it a shot.
There
Yeah.
you
Well,
go.
you know what you should do is you should censor their face and like censor their voice, right? And then make a
Yeah.
video where you're asking them questions, and it's like, don't worry, if you're a fraud, no one's gonna know who you are,
Right.
and and,
Well,
and, and then just do it that way.
my son hit 2 out of 6, so
But it's a game of odds,
it is. It absolutely is.
But some people are also, what the hell was that show? There was a great show used to be on TV. It was called the Mentalist. You ever seen that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and it's
Mhm.
just, and that show was so good because this was a guy who there's actually a mentalist now. What the hell is his name? He's famous. He was on
Oz.
no, the other guy.
Not Kreskin.
No, he had a weird name too. Banachek.
Oh yes. So
Ben-
I knew about Oz the Mentalist and
Yeah.
Kreskin the Mentalist. I think he passed away earlier this year.
Oz, I think, used to go around with Banachek, and they were both hang around James Randi. Remember the great James Randi?
Yeah, the
The
Randy
amazing
Challenge. The
Yeah,
Randy Challenge, $1 million
yeah.
if you can prove you have psychic abilities.
That dude, guys should check him out for the audience. You guys should check him out on Joe Rogan show. Like at the end, he's like, "Are you sure you don't have fucking powers?" And he's like, "I don't. Like I don't." And he's just like an
I
expert in.
don't.
Well, yeah, but he
I love it though.
he
I
does these
don't.
great. He
I
does
got
these
luck-
great things.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Decon.
No, it's just one of those things where they're so good at reading people. And he's like, no, man, I'm reading your body language. I'm reading your eyes. I'm reading your tone of your voice, so they're just so good at it,
They are.
And if he wanted to, he can actually make a lot of money. But instead, he comes out as a mentalist and he tells them these are all tricks. He doesn't tell you how he does them. So sometimes I'm like, dude, do you really have powers? But he's like, I'm not going to tell you how I do them, but it's a trick, and they're just so
Right.
impressive.
And
So,
I got
fine.
luck. I did get lucky enough to have the pleasure of meeting the amazing Kreskin before he passed.
no shit.
Aw.
I've got his autograph actually. He's a really cool guy. For the record, I felt bad because I had to wake him up from a nap to get his autograph. But the guy was like 97. Okay, so he's allowed a
I
nap or
would have
two.
been like, you're waking me up for me to sign something, I
He was
probably
at
would
an
have
event.
slapped you.
Yeah. Well, no, he's at an event. So, like he
He
knows
was
what's
I'm
at an
going
like,
on.
event,
what the?
and
Wake
I
up.
technically didn't wake him up. His agent did.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
okay,
really
you're
cool
good.
guy. A lot of people don't know that in the 70s, Kreskin had his own board game about extrasensory perception.
No
So
shit.
he did. I actually know someone who owns a copy of it. I'm trying to find my own, but it's quite expensive.
I
But
didn't know that.
but yeah, he actually has his own board game. It's something like the Amazing Kreskin's Extrasensory Perception Test or something along those lines.
Oh, you know
Interesting.
what? Isn't that thing that James Randi uses? That he well now he's dead now, but he used to use those things for his test for his $1 million challenge. He had a whole set, of different tools that you can use, and I think he used an actual board game with different types of
And
tools. And
it's very possible that he did have one of those. I know he's also famous for using Zener cards.
yeah, dude, that's so
Mm-hmm.
cool.
So I mean, I think mentalists are so intriguing because they are so good at
So
what they
neat.
do. They're like an FBI
It's wild.
profiler in a way,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the way they analyze body language, the way that they look at things. But yeah, I don't know. We're a little bit off. We got way off topic tonight, guys, and I apologize. It's just an
no, dude,
exciting, fun
It's
no,
conversation.
fine.
no,
No,
it's
this was
good.
fun.
So with the interrogation, when the FBI, when a police interrogate you, they use the Reed method, right?
Yep.
And the Reed method is not about getting answers; it's about getting confessions. So, there was a guy that was a student of Reed, and he brought a mentalist in there, and the mentalist went in there not as a mentalist, but as a psychic, and he got the guy to confess because
Really?
he was he went in there. He's like, I'm a psychic, like just sit, and he would ask him questions, and he was actually reading his body language, and he was getting answers out of him. Finally, the guy confessed, and he was able to tell them where the body was and all that kind of shit. And the guy's like, "Yes, psychic powers," and he's like, "No, man, like it's technique. Like I can read body language and it was just one of those things when you said it's like a profiler. Like, yeah, it's the same thing. They look at where you're looking, they look at your tone of voice, they look at where your hand
Every
movements.
every
Creepy.
little thing matters.
It's almost like a paranormal ability. It's almost, you know what I mean? It's almost like a supernat. It's crazy because I'm like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, are you sure you don't have powers? But then you realize that they have this excellent ability to read people, and I'm like, this is not normal. Like,
No,
it's just it's crazy.
I mean, I see myself as being pretty decent at reading certain kinds of body language, but in the detail that they do it, like when I go to an event, for
Mm.
example, I wander a lot. Like I'm very rarely ever at my table. So if I have merch at a table, it's probably getting stolen by somebody because I'm very rarely ever there.
Well, that's because
But
you're fidgety. That's because you can't sit still.
I
That's what
really
it is.
I
can't.
wouldn't be able to either.
But as I'm walking around, I'm constantly looking at people. I'm watching the way they're walking. I'm watching their mannerisms. I'm seeing if their facial expressions because you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that great movie Rush Hour. Do you remember Jackie Chan when he tells Chris Tucker?
I
Chris Tucker's
just
like,
watched that movie the other day.
yeah, and then he tells him, he was like, "Man, I didn't know you didn't speak English." He says, "No, I like to stay quiet and let people talk just so I can see how full of shit they are." And
That's
and
my
that's a
favorite line.
and that's such a great line because that's a great way to be. You just let someone talk.
Yeah.
It just let them talk.
Yep.
What are you? Don't ever focus what they're saying. Focus on why they're
Oh,
saying
just
it. Like,
watch them.
why are you saying this to me? Like, what's going on?
Right. So Ash, what is your opinion on the Ouija board? Do you think it's an inherently dangerous tool, or is it just the way it's being used?
No, I just think people are stupid and use it the wrong way. It's like I have a relative, for example. He was playing with one, did not close it out properly, and they've had a spirit in their house ever since, and they cannot get rid of it. They've had somebody come in and they said, "What did you open up?" And then they tell them, "Oh, well, we played with this Ouija board and we didn't do this and this and this." And they're like, "Well, there's really nothing we can do for you."
Yeah, they didn't close it out, and
Right.
Yeah, and they've gotten rid of it too. They got rid of the board, so it's literally just
that's
over.
always a horrible thing too. Is if people don't know to close out the session
Close
yeah,
it out.
but
because
Yes,
they're
if
close
you
it out.
leaving
can
they're
use it
leaving the doorway open.
properly,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
if you use it properly, it's a great tool. I think you can use it to contact people you want to, etc. But if you're not using it properly, I'm sorry, but you're asking for it. Fuck your life.
I don't think it's something that people should use, because mostly the people that want to use them are using them because they don't know what they're doing. But
They
also
don't have the right intentions.
yeah, so also when they're like, I can't get rid of something no matter how hard I try, it's because you yourself are the conduit. You yourself
Yep.
is the door.
Hmm.
And that's what you did. You used this tool, like we talked about earlier. You use
Yep.
this tool, and this tool is actually utilizing you to open up a door. You're the doorway. You know, and
Yep.
you
Which is exactly why I asked that the way that I asked it earlier.
yeah.
Because that's exactly what I think it is whatever comes through the board was already interested in them before they ever started playing the board, but they just didn't necessarily
Exactly.
have the doorway to enter in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now they've used you. And now you're their
And
bridge.
now you've opened it up and now you're screwed. So,
And if people knew what they were legitimately talking about, if somebody comes to you and they're like, I can't get rid of this, I can't get rid of this out of my house, instead of being like, let's look at the board, it's like, what are you doing? Like, just sit down
yeah,
and
what did you do?
you know what I mean? It's like, just sit
Oh
down
yeah.
and have a conversation with me. What's going on? Like, what did you do? Why did you
Yeah.
do this?
Are
And,
And
you
and so
like
many and so many
doing a
people,
podcast about paranormal stuff or
so many people will tell you that if they call you as someone who does a lot of residential cases, and I've never really dealt with one where it was a demon per se. I have encountered some nasty human entities that people have attracted through using a Ouija board, but never a demon. Um, but 9 times out of 10, you can ask them all day long in the beginning of the discussion if they have ever used one. They're going to tell you no, because
yeah,
they don't want you to know that they used it.
no.
yeah, and
I
this is
cannot
not.
help. We can't help if we don't have the information.
Yep,
Yeah.
if you're not being honest, it's like the people that have an issue like with alcoholism or with drug use, and you're just not being honest, or like, okay, what are you doing? You know what I
Yep,
mean? It's like, if you're not talking to me, I can't help you. And
that's true.
Yep.
and it's just one of those things, man, where a lot of the people that have these kind of issues and they themselves are the doorway, they don't get help because they don't want help. It's almost like they want this type of attention. And whatever's around them, just holds on because they keep getting this type of attention, you know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
And this once again can go right back to the Ouija board setting here as well, because people with addictive personalities that have addictions should not be using these tools,
yeah,
because you
So,
already have that negative energy about you. So if
hmm
you're an extreme alcoholic, or if you're a drug addict, or if you just have an overall general bad aura about you or doing bad things, you should not be using one of these tools, because that's exactly what you're going to attract to you, is something that is absolutely negative.
yep.
yeah. And we talked about um remember we were talking about a lumber mill and working at a lumber mill and all that kind
Mhm.
of shit. So
Oh, yeah.
it's almost the same concept when it comes to somebody with addiction. So like when you're working at a lumber mill and you see a crack on a board, there's the weak point. And when you have something that's applying force and then it needs to expel that energy, it finds the path of least resistance. It finds that weak point and it's right there. That's the breaking point. So when you have
Yep,
somebody with addictions or with some type of problem, whatever is out there, whatever demonic entity is out there, and they're looking for somebody, like, it's right there. I can hit them in this spot, and they know that you just won't let go because it's giving you something, you know,
exactly.
Mhm.
and it's like, damn, and there's so much. I mean, it's like it's like the same argument when people go to therapy, and there's that person, he keeps showing up. He likes the attention that he's getting, just to like the people with the
Right.
he likes, and then the therapist, they go home and they're like, fuck this guy, he has a problem for every solution, and
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's just like they don't want help. They like the attention, they like the
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. So when you have somebody that they utilized a tool of divination and they brought something in, they're not being like, what did you do? And they're not being entirely
yes,
truthful. It's because a part of them doesn't want to let go. They like the attention. They they like the fact that they have somebody asking them questions, so they'll never give that answer because they're like,
yes.
damn, this person can take it
It's
away
like,
from me.
for me, and I can speak personally about this one myself. For me, when I was going through my mental health issues, probably a year and a half ago or so, When I was going to therapy, I completely walked away from doing anything paranormal until I felt like my mindset was better to be able to put myself back into that environment.
That makes sense, though.
See, no, but that's great advice, dude. Like, there's a lot of people out there that get into the paranormal world or into conspiracies because they're hurting, and it could become dangerous. I mean,
Again, I stopped doing TikTok. I stopped doing everything paranormal related until I felt like I was in a better spot mentally
yeah.
and was able to continue on with the work that I had set forth in the beginning to do.
Was this during your break when
Yes.
things were rough? Yeah, I remember that,
Yeah,
dude.
when I stopped doing podcasts, I stopped
Yeah,
doing everything for about 6 or 7 months.
dude. I told you, dude, you're a bad motherfucker. You can get back at, and you
That's
did, dude.
great.
You came back swinging. You came back hard. It's just one of those things, man, where if you show up anywhere with a chink in your armor, man, whatever's around there, they're gonna find it and they're gonna use it. And they'll be like, I can latch onto this person. I can hurt everybody around them through this
Yep.
person.
And
So
that's
that's great,
100% true.
dude. Oh man, we're almost out of time here. So we didn't even
So
talk about
we haven't
Zozo.
hit
But
on Zozo. We haven't hit on Zozo. What do you
okay,
guys think Zozo is?
go ahead, Ash.
I think Zozo's a demon, and I wouldn't fuck with it. No, Zozo freaks me out. I don't
Um,
know what it is, but whenever when he said he wanted to do Zozo, I instantly got chills. I was just like, this motherfucker, why? Really? Why?
I I think that it's the same thing,
Hmm.
like a demonic entity, but I don't think that it's necessarily the Zozo. I think that it's a Zozo, if that makes sense. Like
It
there's
does.
because there's
What do you
thousands.
mean?
So when we look at something demonic, like a demon, right?
Yeah.
It's normally one demon, but you have thousands of people around the world utilizing the. What if this is just a type of demon that just latches onto those that are, unprepared? They're, like I said earlier, they're hurting. Whether it's the Ouija board, it could be through a flashlight, it could be through anything. This is just something that comes through tools that just
Yeah.
finds people that are just, unprepared, they're
So
mentally or emotionally hurt.
something somebody created similar
No,
to like a topa?
I,
No.
no,
I, I
no, no,
wouldn't
no, no,
I wouldn't think of
no.
it as a thought form. But I would say for speaking on Decon's spot here, because there's so many different demons out there. That is why typically whenever you come across a demonic possession or demonic infestation, the spirit that talks through or the demon that talks through will tell you, "I am Legion." Legion means many. It
Yep,
means that
many.
they travel in packs.
Yep,
So is it very possible that it's not the actual Zozo demon, but a
but
demon masking itself as Zozo to
yep,
gain more capturing to be able to get into your life easier because you're more afraid of that Zozo demon than you would be this, I guess you could say, maybe not a strong lesser demon, if that makes sense.
ye-
I almost feel like demons are like, what word should I use?
Demons?
Prouder than that?
I was gonna say slutty,
Slutty. I mean, that
slutty
works too.
demons.
But they're like proud of their name. Like when you figure out their name, so why would they share a name?
Well, because it could even be so. For example, we call it now Zozo because of our language, but like
That I'm gonna
in
tell you.
in Mesopotamia, I mean they had the P and then the ZZ Pazuzu,
Yep.
and then that's where. So that's an it could be Zozo could be a title. It may not even be a name. What if it's a title? You know, you know what I'm trying to
Oh, that
say?
makes
Like
sense.
like what are you? I'm a firefighter. Like that's not your name. That's what you do. That's your title.
Exactly.
Same thing with a Zozo.
Okay, I see what you're
I
saying.
am the demon of divination. I am the.
Yes.
This is what he is.
And so
So
many and so many people have
Okay.
claims of contacting the Zozo. I can tell you that I don't know if you guys ever saw a show called House of Shrek, where the guy he owns all these Ouija boards. They decorate his whole freaking house. I've interviewed him before, and he's been using them since he was like 12, and he said he has never once contacted a demon, the Zozo, or anything inherently evil while using the board because he knows how to respect.
Well, yeah,
and you
I
would
would
think that
hope.
that if Zozo's gonna come through, and he's just the talking board demon, that this is, you know what I mean? This is where he'd hang out, you
Right.
know. But again, it's almost like they just seek, and this person's probably very spiritually, emotionally, and mentally strong. So it's kind of like I have nothing to latch onto, you know. So they just move on. It moves on to somebody else. It moves on to the sad girl that's over there, like playing with the
yeah.
Ouija board. Will so and so ever take? You know, will he ever take me back? You know,
As a matter of fact, the guy from House of Shrek, sorry, his name is Rick Shrek. He was the one who built Ouijazilla in Massachusetts a few years ago.
Oh yeah, okay. Jeez, I had no idea it was the same guy.
Same guy.
Wait, that giant Ouija board?
Yeah, the one that
I
I don't
want to
want to meet.
go.
You know what?
I
If demons come through a Ouija board, I don't want to meet the one that has the power to move that fucking planet.
Yeah, that has to go through that. Yeah, what it's like G.I. Joe, you know, like they all have
Oh,
you know,
jeez.
and it's like, where's the original Joe? And he's like, here I am, you know, like this.
Yes.
Hello.
The actual Zozo will come through. No, but
The actual Zozo. Maybe all of them will join together and move
yeah,
it.
hence the name Legion. We are Legion, for we are
Yeah,
many. So it's
teamwork.
yeah, it's just one of those things, man, that it's just dark and so and that's what makes the world interesting, man, is that, and there's nothing wrong with like, I'm a skeptic in a lot of things, but there's just some things out there which I can just tell you, like, I don't know. And and that's what keeps life interesting, you know, like when somebody asks you, what about this? And you look at it and you're like,
No.
I wish I had an answer, but I don't know.
Right.
You know, and that thing, that's a healthy way to be. And it keeps the world interesting, man. You know?
It is. And even as hardened of a skeptic as I am, you know, I will be the first to admit if something cannot be explained by my methods. I'll straight tell you, I've got not a clue. I've ran my normal stuff, my normal methodology, and I could not figure out for the life of me what's happening here.
Yeah, dude, and your methodology is kind of a pain in the ass. You're like, what's the lighting like? What is it? What's the location like? Was it cold? Was it hot? You know?
There's so much. There's all of
there's
this
a
pattern
lot.
stuff.
Yeah, there is. It's like, I saw this. It's like, well, what time of day was it? Was it hot? Was it cold? You know, like what was the lighting like? Is your
Do you happen to know? Did you happen to know the dew point?
Yeah, is your camera set up for, you know, taking dark, you know, shots at night, into all those kind of things? Is there a glare? You know, it's just all these questions, man. And
I know I'm a pain in the ass. I know.
Well, not to me, but you know, not yet. No, so it's just, but it's just one of those things, man, where these methods shouldn't be, because a lot of people get offended, you know, like da 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 da. If you have nothing to hide, like, it shouldn't offend you. Like seriously, like, if you believe that what you have is legitimate and somebody's coming along and they're saying shit like, is this going on? You would want the answer, like, you know what? Let's figure this out to see if
which is why
Right?
which is why a lot of times I will not say that I am a debunker. I offer alternative explanations based off of what I see.
Have you ever met somebody with a, let's say, with a collection of baseball cards with authentic signatures, you know, and then they have an expert? What is the first thing they do? The first thing they do is they go over there like, let's look at these, you know, and they're excited. A person that is selling, you know, counterfeit ones doesn't want the expert near him. He's like, you know what? I don't need to prove anything to you. You can go fuck yourself. You know, I'll take my Pokemon cards and I'm going over here. You know, you see that a lot.
Pokemon?
Yeah. So, like, I'm going this way. You know?
I love it.
So, but it's just one of those things where, you know, if you have a legitimate thing, and we got to close the show. If you have a legitimate case and you believe that what's happening is real, you have no explanation, you want Static to come over and like go through with you, because if it's something that's like legitimately bothering you, keeps you up at night, you want answers. I mean, not knowing fully could, you know, help you sleep at night if there's like some sort of answer. If you're scared and you're like, dude, no, man, when you walk through your house, you have copper pipes and it sounds like somebody's running up the stairs, because these pipes run around your house, you know?
Yeah.
And it's simple things, you know, you might want to get them replaced, you know, it's just shit like that. You know, it's just all these things, man. And like I said, it's, the world is just so mysterious, and that's what makes it interesting. That's why I love the paranormal, even though I don't believe in a lot of things. I always gravitate towards them because it's so fun. You know,
It is fun. I love what I do.
I agree.
it's the best. All right, guys. I'd like to thank our guest, Static Voices, for
No,
coming
thank you guys
on,
for having me
dude.
again.
Dude, you
Of course.
are the man. Man, this was one hell of a surprise. My nipples got hard. It was crazy. But dude, it's always a good.
Wow.
But you should definitely get. We gotta have you on at least once a month or something because these conversations are always badass.
You just let me know. You pick a topic and we'll run with it. I mean, you know me. I know a little bit about a lot of things. So
I'll just do it.
We'll run through it. So this episode was brought to you by the Silver Witch. Guys, go pick up a spell bag on the Silver Witch. You can find her on eBay, Silver Witch, and also by Loot by Lottie. You guys can go ahead, type in Lucky Loot for your first purchase. Get 10% off your first purchase at Loot by Lottie. And it's got everything from charms to spell bags to mystery boxes with ingredients. It's all good shit. Like, it's exciting. Yeah, you got that box, and you got the coyote jaw out of it. To me, that was worth everything because it was so badass. She lost it. Anyway,
I showed that one. I didn't lose it. It's right there.
Yeah,
but have I showed it on the show?
Yeah, go grab the damn thing. Otherwise, people think I'm lying.
Don't tell me what to do. Dang you.
I don't think
telling me what to do. How dare you?
All right, let's close the show before we get back. So anyway, also, T Public, go.
Huh?
Did you find it?
Yeah, I did.
All right, let's see it. Look at that. Turn it around. Oh, coyote jaw.
That's awesome.
Yep, used to demon repellents. Used to dispel demons. Anyway, so T Public, go get yourself a shirt, get yourself a sticker, get a sticker to put on buses. Oh, yep, I designed that shirt. Put a sticker on a sticker. Over at tpublic.com. It's all good stuff. Get a mug. We have shorts now, so get yourself a pair of shorts. Get yourself a pair of shorts with my face on them. Right on the crotch. Anyway,
God, I put a shirt in my cart and never did pay for. I got to buy that shirt. I told you I was going to buy one from you. I got some stickers to send you too.
Oh shit! Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Hopefully, it has your face on it. So that's it, guys. Ooh. Thank you guys for joining us.
I need to let you guys have some alone time for a second.
Get out of here. So thank you guys for joining us. And remember, guys, to always look both ways, especially if you find yourselves on Zozo Road.
Okay, right.
Oh, if you can hit